is true success in life, when you become part of somebody else's testimony. I want to talk to you about taking your business and your life to the next level. Success in business and success in life is greatly dependent upon our ability to influence others in a positive way.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ability to Influence podcast. And I am so excited about today's guest. She is the owner of LeAnne's Old Fashioned Cookies and the newly published author of God Has a Sweet Tooth. This is an amazing story, and I can't wait to jump right into it. She is an influencer in the community. She's an influencer in the business world. And one of my favorite people on earth, LeAnne Crabtree. LeAnne, welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
So what a cool story LeAnne's Cookies is. This started as a college project, right?
Yes, it did.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, when I was a student at University of Central Florida, finance major, my marketing project was to create a business, figure out a product or service we wanted to sell, figure out who we were going to sell it to, figure out how we were going to market it to, and at the end of the semester, show if we had a profit or a loss.
Now, as you had no idea, right, what you were going to do for this project. You're in college. You don't know what business to start, right? So what do you do?
Well, stressed out about it for probably the whole day. And finally, I called my parents to see what their advice would be. What I didn't think about is as they're talking to me on the phone, they're surrounded by cookies on their dining room table that I had just been there the weekend before. And so as they're eating cookies and I'm telling them about this project, then they're saying, LeAnne, this is a no-brainer. The college students will absolutely love the cookies and you love to bake, so it will work. And, before that, they had gone through a lot of the things that I had done as a child and selling. And my mom's thing was selling's not going to be your problem. And if you take cookies onto a college campus with hungry college students, you've got it.
Yeah, no doubt. So you start doing that. So you start baking cookies. Now there was a big journey there though, right? Y'all had to find a place that you could bake these cookies because you didn't have a commercial kitchen at your house.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
So y'all ended up finding somebody in the community that that would allow you to utilize their ovens for you to do this, right?
Yes, we did.
Very cool.
Ended up being the pizza shop that was next to the Publix I worked for.
Okay.
Because of the relationships that I had built with the owners of the pizza shop, as I brought this to them, they wanted to be a help. Never charged us to use their facilities at all.
So even back then, you were already doing networking. I know you talk a little bit about networking and the power of networking in your book, because this book, God Has a Sweet Tooth, this is not just a book about baking cookies now. I mean, this is, you had a lot of ups and downs on this journey, a lot of trials and tribulations that you had to go through. And obviously God was with you every step of the way as you did this. Absolutely. And you learned some lessons along the way as well that you share in this book, which I think are just absolutely phenomenal. But before we jump into that, let's keep the story going. So you turn in this project, you start baking cookies, you start selling them all over the college campus, and you're profitable. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so you turn in this project, you've proven that you've got a profitable business model created. And what happens?
The professor didn't see it the same way. That he was looking at people being too health conscious and no longer going to eat cookies. So therefore, he gave me a C- on the project, saying that it will never be a viable business. We could never sustain it because people aren't going to eat cookies anymore.
Well, I can tell you, if you can't tell by looking at me, I have definitely had my fair share of LeAnne's cookies over the last several years. But he was wrong, because you have created an extremely profitable business
Yeah.
from that project, and it's still going strong today. I mean, you're delivering cookies all over the United States of America, and your marketing, obviously, you're focused on businesses, right? And using your gift baskets as just that, gift baskets to clients, etc.
Right.
So talk a little bit about that.
Well, and it started because one of the college professors told me about the corporate market. She called me in her office. I had no idea what it was, but that's the path God was directing us to go. And with my husband changing jobs and now being in front of executives at his new job, they love to buy the cookies. And soon they were asking, as the Christmas holidays were coming, what can you guys do? Can you put this into baskets? We want to give it to our clients. And God used that to tell us what the college marketing professor was showing me, but I didn't understand at the time, that this is the niche that you're going into.
Wow.
And it has been absolutely powerful.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of things along the way though that have tried to knock you down. Am I right? Obviously, you know, you've represented God in your business and in your life, and obviously, anytime you're doing that, right, there's an enemy, the devil, that is trying to knock you down the whole time. And you had some ups and downs along the way, right? Like you suffered some health issues there for a while, did you not?
I did. Yes. Yes. My husband was awakened one night and I was seizuring
Mm.
and scared him, of course, called the paramedics in. I was 6 months pregnant with our daughter at the time. So not only was he worried about me, he was worried about our daughter.
Wow.
And so as I woke up and found two men standing in our bedroom, I was scared because when you seizure, you don't know that you've seizured. You have no idea.
Yeah.
Makes you extremely tired. They were asking questions. How far along are you? I couldn't even tell them at the time right after the seizure that I was pregnant, or how long, you know, that I was 6 months along, any of those. So they just it'll be fine. But everything ended up being fine. The neurologist we chose, not knowing anything else, was the one that saw me in ER. And over a series of time that you'll find out in the book, that wasn't the one that God had for us.
Mm.
There was another neurologist that needed to see me. Mm. And as one of the seizures that I had, then when Travis called my doctor, he told him that the medication she's on, I need to change her immediately from that. We've had problems for 1.5 years. Yeah. And Travis's instant thing was, if you knew, and my wife could die if somebody wasn't there to help her, if she's turned wrong, and you let her be this way for 1.5 years and didn't change her. Mm. Travis was no longer confident with the doctor.
Right.
So as we went to our Bible study that Sunday morning, Travis brought that to the floor and said, number one, you need to pray for my wife. But number two, you need to pray for the neurologist that God will send us to. And in our class that day that had just been visiting was a couple she was the nurse for Dr. Rogers, the neurologist that God was sending us to.
Wow.
So the seizure had to happen at the right time. They only visited that class a couple of weeks and they were gone and we never saw them again.
Oh, wow.
So God's timing, again, had to be perfect with the seizure for us to even find Dr. Rogers.
And so you end up, you know, finding out, obviously, that you have a tumor and end up having brain surgery, right, to fix this.
Yes.
And so, again, just another thing that was thrown at you on this journey, and God walked you through that every step of the way. And you talk about that in the book. And obviously there's more details to it, but we don't want to give them all the details, right? Because we want them to go. They got to go read the book. But life lessons. There's some very important lessons that you learned along the way that has gotten you to where you're at and has helped you to become successful. What is one of those? What is one of the lessons that you lay out in this book that is so powerful in, you know, growing your business and being successful?
Well, one of the things that comes to mind instantly is loving what you do. And if you know me at all, you know that I love, number one, to bake, but I also love helping with our clients and doing what I can do for them.
Yeah. You're a servant leader. You are a servant leader. There is no doubt about it. You also talk a little bit in the book, which I alluded to a little bit earlier,
Mhm.
about networking, the power of networking. How
Yes.
has that played a factor in you becoming successful with this business the way you have?
It has played a huge factor. It allows you to get to know people. And as you build those relationships, it's not always about this is the product I have to sell. It's more how can you help that person? Do
Yeah,
you know somebody? Are they struggling with something? As you get to know them more individually and what their life is like, the connections made, then the sales can come. And it's just
yeah.
natural.
Fantastic, fantastic. Yeah, networking is huge, obviously, getting out there, getting the word out. But now you
Mhm.
have this book,
Yes.
and you're going to be able to get that message out to even more people across the country, around the world. How does that make you feel? Are you excited? What's it like to be a published author?
It is awesome. It is amazing. The lives that it's already touching have just touched my heart. The
Yeah,
individuals that have come to us, shared the stories, didn't know this about me. All that is just amazing.
very good. Well, where can they go to grab a copy of this book and find out more about this story and why we believe that God has a sweet tooth?
They can go to godhasasweettooth.com and order the book there.
Fantastic. And you'll sign it personally, right? Ship it right out to them?
Absolutely.
All
Yes.
right. Fantastic. Well, listen, y'all, I was blessed with the opportunity to work with LeAnne through the entire process of writing this book, publishing this book. We did some coaching together and have been doing coaching together for quite some time. And I can tell you right now, this book is a game changer. It'll impact your life, it'll impact your business, and definitely a great stocking stuffer for somebody this year as we're coming into Christmas. So go to www.godhasasweettooth.com and order your copy today. LeAnne, thank you so much for being
Thank
with me
you.
today and hopping here and sharing about the book with everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next video. God bless.